call to order this meeting of Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners. I would note that all the commissioners are present except for Commissioners Pine and Johnson, who are excused. At the outset of the meeting, I'd like to ask everyone to join us in a Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I would ask that tonight the pledge be led by Commissioner Sanders.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. It's an excellent turnout for a meeting in August. What's up? We'll turn first to petitions, complaints, and suggestions from citizens. Anybody would like to address the board, you're free to do so. Just come up to the podium. Try to limit yourself to 3 minutes. Is there anybody that wishes to speak? Seeing none? Oh.
I'll be very quick. John Dietrich. I just wanted to say thanks. We have a reduced speed bump, or a gone speed bump where that stop sign was, so I'm assuming that's a permanent addition or correction. So that is fantastic. Myself and my bike greatly appreciate that. But thanks, guys. And ladies, thank you.
Yes, sir. If you could just identify yourself and give us your address, please.
My name is Timothy Patterson, and my address is 213 Montrose Street in the First Ward. Mr. President and Commissioners all, I'm here tonight to address the defective paving job which was done by Doley Construction on Montrose Street. Now, Montrose Street runs from 6th Street down to Front Street. And for over 80 years, the water flowed in a continuous manner, a continuous flow from 6th Street to Front Street. Now, it doesn't do that anymore. Several places on Montrose Street, the water collects, lies there and stagnates in the gutter. And 2 of these places are in front of my house. In fact, the water in one place runs up the street 3 feet. In front of my house, the water, there's a 10-foot section, 15 inches wide. The water collects there, lies there, stagnates there. That's one place. Another place also in front of my house, the same condition. 6 feet long, 15 inches wide, collects, lies there, and stagnates. Now, this has created another problem for me as far as my roof rain, the rain coming off, going in my roof gutters. The rain comes off the roof, goes into the gutter, goes down the downpipe, into a pipe under the ground, and goes out to the gutter. Now, because there's water lying in the gutter, it can't get out fast enough on a heavy rain, and my rain gutters are stopping up, overflowing. Also, to the side of my property is Susquehanna Alley, to the west of my property. The water comes off of Montrose Street, makes a left turn, goes 4 feet into the alley, crosses over the alley to the other side, goes out 4 feet, and goes back onto Montrose Street, and then finally hits the grate to drain. Now, Doley Construction, they did come back in, I think, June, and they did some repaving. They fixed some places between Green Street and 2nd Street. They tore up the street and repaved it to the proper condition it should be in. And the same thing, they did the same thing between 2nd Street and Front Street. They tore up a section and replaced it. but they did not fix the other places, and particularly the two places in front of my house plus the alley. Now this should be unacceptable to Susquehanna Township. I don't know of any other township, municipality, developer, or private business that would accept this kind of defective work. So I'm asking the commissioners to please have Dolly Construction return and fix the defective work and correct these defects on Montrose Street, not just my property, but the other places. And also, I don't think you should be approving the final payment to these people until the work has been corrected. Also, I'd like to say if this kind of defective work was done in front of your property, I think all of you would be up in arms and you wouldn't want to have it fixed also.
I think you're right. Mr. Kratzer, can you talk to Tim afterwards? Or you two can get together. This is an ongoing process.
Yeah, and I've spoken to Mr. Patterson on a number of
Wow.
occasions, as has folks from HRG.
And we've actually identified this in the walkthrough, the final walkthrough. Dolly has not been paid the final payment, by the way, and will not be until certain things are remedied. So there is a solution, and we're looking into that and working with the contractor to try to get that solution rectified.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. President, while we're on the topic, I have not seen the ponding of the water in front of Mr. Patterson's house, although I'll take him at his word. But there is still ponding on the corner of Montrose in front, and it's water that wasn't there prior to the project being done. It's throughout the ward.
All right, so Dave and Bob, you'll continue your dialogue with Dolly.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
Yes.
Mr. Patterson did speak to the folks from HRG, and then he contacted me, and I don't know that he got answers.
Who?
Mr. Patterson.
Okay.
So I don't know if you have any new information, but I told him there was nothing else I could tell him. After he called me, after he spoke with folks on the walkthrough.
We did file a report dated July 31st, Commissioner, related to the issue in front of Mr. Patterson's house.
All right, well, thanks, Mr. Patterson. And as our engineer said, the final payment has not been made, and there are still some rough edges to finish, and nothing gets rougher than ponding in front of your house, I know that. So, thank you. Anybody else wish to address the board tonight? Okay, hearing none. Move on to approval of minutes from our July 11th, 2019 regular meeting.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And our July 25th workshop?
So moved. Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Reports of committees, Buildings and Grounds, Commissioner Rothrop.
Yes, I have a very brief report. Just want to let you know that the interconnection agreements with PP&L are being worked on now for the solar project.
Great,
That concludes my report.
thank you. Budget and Finance, Commissioner Sanderson.
Yes, thank you. We did have a meeting, as indicated. Year-to-date report is pretty much where we expected it to be, 50%. Minor variations here and there. We're still talking about the normal course of business, developing the budget for this coming year because it's August. So we normally have that preliminary budget prepared no later than October, and then up for public presentation and vote in November and December. So I don't think that there's anything outstanding. There's no special projects that we already aren't aware of, and we're just moving forward. So I expect the big news in this report is that we'll have another scheduled meeting in September. Mr. Kratzer will have to pull some suggested dates together.
That is correct, Mr.
All right,
Mr.
that's my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Public Works, Commissioner Napper.
Yes, Mr. President. In the month of July, the Public Works Department performed multiple roadway projects, including repairing a sinkhole and installing a plug in the terminal's manhole on Tall Pine Drive located in the Second Ward. Staff also flushed and cleared routes over 50,000 feet of sanitary sewer line and responded to over 200 PA1 calls. As a final note, Mr. President, the Public Works Department would like to recognize Mr. Vince Butts for his 38 years of service to the township. This ends my report, sir. He'll be truly
Thank you.
missed.
He will be missed.
Yep.
We had an authority meeting the other night. And it was a very nice tribute to Vince. He's been here longer than probably most of us put together. It's been a long time. And he just been a tremendous employee, and I know that Nate spoke fairly highly of him. He's our Public Works Director, and could always count on him. Be dependable and reliable, and he knew what he's doing, and he had great customer service, so. If you're listening out there, big guy, thank you for, how many years? 38?
38 years.
38. Thank you, Vincent. Health and Sanitation, Commissioner Robarczyk.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next scheduled yard waste pickup by Penn Waste will take place Saturday, August the 17th. As usual, please have all material for collection at the curb by 6 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Administration Personnel, Commissioner Napper.
No report, sir.
Thank you. Police, Commissioner Engel.
Yes, Chief?
Members of the board, as you know, we have vacancies within the police department, and before you, you have a civil service list. My first recommendation and request is to decertify the existing civil service list.
Move to decertify the existing civil service list.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
My second request is to certify the new civil service list that's before you.
Move to certify the new civil service list.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And my final request is that we offer a conditional offer of employment to Ms. Kristen Deerdorf to be a police officer, probationary police officer with the police department. And those conditions would be the passing of all municipal police officers and education training commission requirements under the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
I move to make a conditional offer to Kristen Deerdorf contingent upon her fulfillment of the requirements the chief just mentioned.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Kristen.
Sean.
Thanks, Chief. Fire and EMS, Commissioner Fleming.
Yes, Mr. President, we have a few events coming up. So next week, from August 11th through the 14th, is the live-in training here at Harrisburg Area Community College, and our live-in personnel with our volunteer fire companies will be doing training that week. And we have 9 live-ins at Rescue. And, I'm sorry, 9 live-ins at Progress and 6 live-ins at Rescue. So part of the expansion of the public safety building was to make the live-in program for Rescue Fire Company more robust. So they're building on the numbers from year to year. On August 14th, that's next Wednesday, there will be a live burn at HAC. So if any of you want to go down and see that. I had the pleasure to participate in it one year, and it was something I won't forget. Just to put all the turnout gear on, go in, see what it's like to actually walk through a burning building. It was a pretty memorable experience. So that's next Wednesday. There is an exercise that will take place, so be aware if you're traveling in the area of Fort Hunter. Next Thursday, August 15th, there will be helicopters and rescue boats and things like that in the Fort Hunter area, so be aware of that if you're traveling. And then on August 17th, there will be an open house here at the Public Safety Building and a new dedication of the brand-new heavy rescue truck, heavy rescue apparatus that the township purchased. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Recreation, Commissioner Barczak. Anything?
Yeah, I do, thank you. Susquehanna Township held their National Night Out this past Monday. It was a great success. I'd like to thank all of the staff and the various volunteer agencies that were involved in putting together events, and all the sponsors, too numerous to mention. But we appreciate all the work that went into it, and there was a great turnout in public, especially a lot of kids. So, thank you.
Was a nice night. Very nice. Let's do it again next year. Let's see. Planning and Zoning, Commissioner Rothrock.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. There was a Planning Commission meeting on the 22nd of July. There were 3 items that were looked at, primarily Boulder Ridge, lots 17 and 18, final subdivision plan to combine 3 tracks into 2 building lots. That was approved for submission to this board. Herbert Moore, final subdivision plan, corner of Elmerton and 39th. Sidewalks and curbs were added to the plan, and it was also approved for submission to this board. And the Solid Rock Missionary Baptist Church, preliminary final development plan for a worship and community center, 2400 Locust Lane. The previous comments by the township staff, engineer, and Dauphin County Planning Commission were addressed, and it was approved for submission to this board as well. We also had a short discussion of the Neighborhood Design Development Ordinance Amendment by Charter Homes for an 80-unit residential neighborhood, but there was no action taken, and there will be further revisions to that. That takes care of the Planning Commission. Last night there was a zoning hearing board meeting, quieter than the previous few that we've had. And one item on the agenda was Jonathan Thomas, 1716 Glenside Drive, request for variance to allow for additions to a single-family dwelling where they were going to encroach on setbacks. That request was approved. And that concludes my report.
Thanks, Commissioner. Bids and agreements, professional health inspector. Mr. Kratzer.
Yes, Mr. President. So before you this evening, as you had indicated, is a professional health inspection service contract between the township and Anthony Russo. We had received the prior health inspector that was doing the work on a contract basis is relocated, so we currently are without a health inspector. Mr. Russo was recommended through the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture and currently is conducting retail food safety inspections in the city of York. The contract has been reviewed by both the township solicitor and the township's insurance consultant and is in proper form. So the contract is recommended for the board's approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. When would he start, Mr. Kratzer?
He can start immediately upon execution of this contract. So the intention is to communicate the action, assuming the action goes forth this evening, and then he'll be able to start.
Okay. Any comments or questions? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ordinances and resolutions, 3831 Walnut Street, Mr. Rohr.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We have a site reduction request, and that is for 3831 Walnut from $147,260.30 down to $26,779.50. The township engineer reviewed the request and recommended approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Figure that out, Janine. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We have
Next.
a Resolution 19R20, a resolution authorizing the submission of a sewer module for Paxton Creek North Branch and Woodridge interceptors.
Okay, and these are for the 2 projects, one on Paxton Creek near Shut Mill Road, and the other in the neighborhood. Is that right?
That is correct, yes. Yep. Yep.
1.5. roughly?
No. This isn't a storm sewer project. This is the authority's
Sewer
project, sanitary sewer project, yes, yep. So again, before you, you have, the authority has reviewed, actually, this is an authority-sponsored project, again, increasing the capacity of both the North Branch interceptor and the Woodridge interceptors located within the Paxton Creek mini basin. So again, this is an authority-sponsored project to increase the hydraulic capacity of those properties to not only accommodate current flows, but anticipated flows within that area of the township.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Boulder Ridge, lots 17 and 18. It's a final subdivision plan for the purpose of consolidating 2 lots into one new single lot between 1873 and 1891 Mountain View Road. The property contains 1.6 acres and is located in the R1 zoning district. The plan was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission, contingent on 2 waivers, the preliminary plan procedure and the drawing scale.
So moved with the waivers.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the waivers associated with this action. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Planning Commission attached the following condition for approval of the plan. Address all remaining comments provided by staff, Township Engineer, and Dauphin County Planning Commission.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the plan with the condition that Mr. Rohr just read. Is there any comments or questions before we vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bless you.
The next item on the agenda, Mr. Moore, that has been tabled, and we will hopefully return next month.
Okay, is there a motion to table the Herbert Moore
So moved.
subdivision? Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Lastly, Solid Rock Missionary Baptist Church, a preliminary final land development plan for the purpose of constructing a worship and community center at 2400 Locust Lane. The property contains 4.59 acres and is located in the R4 Residential Urban District. The plan was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission contingent on the following waivers. The first, preliminary plan procedure. Second, partial sidewalk with the condition that a contribution is provided to the township in an amount equal to or approaching the cost of the sidewalk to the township for future sidewalk projects within the township.
Move to approve with the waivers.
Second.
Okay, 2 waivers have been moved to be approved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So after the Planning Commission meeting, the following waivers were requested by the applicant. The Planning Commission did not provide a recommendation on the waivers. Street lighting facilities and low-level pedestrian lighting for sidewalk.
Okay. We'll need a motion and a second on this before we discuss, but if, we'd like to entertain some discussion if anybody on the board has a question.
I'll make a motion. Oh, second.
It's been moved and seconded. Anybody have any questions on these waiver requests?
Yeah, I do. I'd just kind of like to know what would there was a discussion at the Planning Commission meeting regarding the street lighting and whether it was required or not required. And I never heard what the outcome of that was. Can you clarify that?
It was
for me?
determined that it was required, and they have requested waivers, and they did send a letter in requesting the reasoning for the waivers, if you'd like me to read it.
Yeah, could you?
Sure. The reason for the request is that streetlights already exist at or very near the property. A light attached to a utility pole exists off the southeast corner of the property, approximately 8 feet south of the street right-of-way line. Another light attached to a utility pole exists 60 feet southwest of the access drive into the site on the south side of Locust Lane. These 2 lights plus a proposed light on the east side of the access drive, approximately 48 feet from the new edge of street paving, should satisfy these ordinance requirements.
Okay. Thank you.
Does staff have any thoughts on this?
I do not, I don't know if perhaps Betsy does.
Betsy Logan, I didn't see you back there.
Good evening. We are recommending approval of the waiver as submitted. That's all.
Any other questions?
Who would review that? Would that be HRG for the lighting?
For the lighting,
Yes.
as far as like separation of
Whether or not
lighting, or
whether or not it's, well, the planning commission is not recommending that.
Well, the planning commission didn't have that. It wasn't a waiver request at the time, so.
Oh, so it was
like,
subsequent
It was
to the
still a
meeting.
comment that has, that
Okay,
has since
got it.
been. That's why they didn't make any recommendations, because they didn't have it in front of them. But HRG and myself, we both review it.
And what they're proposing meets with our ordinances and?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's acceptable.
Okay.
Any other questions? There's been a motion to, and a second to approve the waivers. No other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Lastly, the plan condition attached one condition, address all remaining comments provided by staff, the township engineer, and Dauphin County Planning Commission.
Is there a motion to approve the plan with that condition?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions?
Good luck with that.
Jump ball. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Welcome, thank you, everybody.
Invite us for the ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
I want to go to the picnic.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Moving on to reports. Mr. Kratzer, do you have anything?
I do not, Mr. President.
All right. Chief's done. So, Mr. Grubik, do you have anything?
No, our report is in your packet. I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
All right. How about the Law Bureau?
Law Bureau has nothing.
Awesome. School Board, Commissioner Fleming?
Yes, Mr. President, school is starting here. The first day of school is August 26th. It will be it is rapidly approaching and will be here soon. I'm sure all of our students have been studying hard through the summer, so there isn't any drop off in academic achievement. But otherwise, I will defer to President Dietrich if you have anything.
I don't have anything at this time either, just thank you for that heads up,
Okay.
that it's soon to happen.
That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Authority, Commissioner Sanderson.
No report, thank you.
All right. Indian Wheels or Shade Tree?
No report, thank you.
All right. Communications, Commissioner Pine is not here.
I don't have anything, thank you.
Well, we do have a newsletter coming out soon.
Yeah, I just would note, just for purposes of the audience at home, that the newsletter is anticipated to be out on October the 4th, so it's currently in production.
October 4th.
October 4th is when it's
Gotcha.
anticipated. Yep.
And Parks and Rec, Commissioner Ravarchak.
We covered that earlier, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, new business, 2 appointments, Human Relations Commission or Shade Tree Commission. Hearing none, we'll save it for next time. Second item is the 2019-20 Dauphin County Local Share Municipal Grant Program. Is Widener here?
I am, Mr. President.
Hi, Widener.
I'm Michael Hussey. I'm the Associate Dean at the Law School here on behalf of Widener Law Commonwealth with our request that the township serve as a co-applicant on the Dauphin County Local Share Municipal Grant that we'd like to submit. And we'll be using this here to fund the hard cost of the rent for our clinic up there, which will free up those funds for us to hire additional staff attorneys to work at the clinic.
Okay.
So, I
So all
respectfully
your
request-
paperwork's been submitted according to our request and
Yes,
been
it
reviewed by
has.
the board presumably, and we're all set to go.
Yep.
Okay. Well, and this is essentially the same as the one that was proposed last year, is that right?
The net effect is essentially the same, yes. The proposal itself is structured differently because this proposal involves the hard cost that we have related to rent and telephone and a couple of miscellaneous things, as opposed to the request from last year that focused on a request to fund the position itself.
Okay.
So we'll, with the rent covered out of the grant, we'd be able to reallocate within our budget to fund the position.
We're on TV if you want to give a minute and a half commercial about what the program is and.
Yeah, so it's
benefits of the community.
it's our civil law clinic up there, and so we work a lot with Mid-Penn Legal Services, Dauphin County Area on Agency, and some clients that walk in. We provide low-income clients free legal services where we have our attorneys that work there who supervise the students. That allows us to give us great leverage on that because we can take the supervising attorneys and essentially we can give them 8 or 10 associates each semester where the students are actually doing the work themselves supervised by the attorney. So cost-wise it's really great. For that we do a lot of family law, custody issues, divorce. We do a fair amount of basic estate planning and probate work that comes to us through the area on agency. We do a lot of unemployment compensation. We do a little bit with Social Security disability as that comes through as well, focused on the people that need it most. And so having this grant would allow us to expand our opportunities to do that.
Okay.
I just want to clarify, sir, are you referring to the Area Agency on Aging?
Yes.
Okay, the AAA, okay.
The AAA.
Okay.
If I got that mixed up, I apologize.
No, it's all right.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we have, I guess 6 total projects here. Is there anybody else here to speak on gaming grant support tonight? Yeah, please, step forward.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Ross, President and CEO of the Jewish Federation. I did make my presentation on July 25th, but I want to thank you again for your time. I did add 2 letters of recommendation this morning, one on behalf of the Silver Academy, which also makes use of our playground, and one on behalf of parents who are parents from our Early Learning Center. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, and I just wanted to see if you had any follow-up questions since I'm here this evening. If not, I just wanted to thank you for your consideration.
Sure. Well, yes. Oh, come on up. Please tell us your name and what you're here for.
I'm Elaine Basaletti, and I'm here on behalf of Ecumenical Retirement Communities. And I just want to thank you for considering our grant. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, if it's the board's pleasure, we can list all of the 6 projects if the board is willing to do that. Make one motion for support, unless there's willing.
Be happy to.
Unless somebody wants to pull a project out or add another project in. All right. So the projects that we have before us that are looking for co-applicant status with Dauphin County are Ecumenical Retirement, the Jewish Federation, Sankofa 21 Institute, Susquehanna Township High School Alumni Association, Susquehanna Township High School Baseball Organization, and Widener Commonwealth Law School. Do we have a motion to offer co-applicant status for these projects?
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Fred beat me. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We had one other request, which is authorization to submit on our own behalf an application for portable radios much needed by the police department. Chief's not here, but he's talked about this subject in the past. I don't know if you have anything you want to add, Mr. Krasser?
I don't have anything beyond the presentation, the information that's been provided to the board. Again, this is a much-needed project necessitated by both the age of the existing radios, but also some transitions that are occurring in response to an FCC order. So it is probably a multi-year project, not to suggest that we'll be submitting an application every year for this, but this is a funding source that would seemingly work for the project that we have before you. So we're again seeking formal authorization to submit the application.
And Mr. Kratzer, it's portable radios for police and fire, correct?
That is correct. Yes. So this initial round contemplates the replacement of I believe 40 radios, 20 going to the fire department, 20 going to the police department.
Okay, so the chair would entertain a motion to support township staff to prepare a grant request to be submitted to the county.
So moved.
Second.
And seconded. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner comments. Anybody wish to comment?
Yes, Mr. President, I just have one quick addendum to my school board. I should have included this in my school board report, but Back to School Bash is taking place on Saturday, August 24th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the high school. So there will be, I believe, food, games, some supplies for families who need them. And so please, everyone, join us if they can for the Susquehanna Township Back to School Bash on Saturday, August 24th from 11 to 2.
Okay.
And that concludes my school board report.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else? Before we move along. All right, we have some bills to pay.
Mr. President, I
Yes.
move to accept the report of bills paid in the amount of $871,572.95, a light month.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And hold on. Hold on. It occurs to me that I may not have announced that we met in executive session prior to our meeting, so I'd like to do that at this point. Board did meet in executive session to discuss matters permitted by law, including personnel and real estate. Contracts not permitted. Litigation is.
Personnel and real estate is what I heard.
Right. Got it. Now, the chair will.
Shun to adjourn.
Been moved. I don't hear a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We are out of here. Thank you, everybody.